celebrating my birthday month. Very thankful, very, very thankful because, I didn't have to be here and I am here. So I'm very thankful and appreciative of all of you. And before I forget, I want to thank everybody for watching and supporting my channel. Uh, Hi to everybody out there in YouTube land and Facebook land. Do appreciate you. Also, hi to everybody that is going to watch the replay. I do appreciate that as well. All of your support is greatly appreciated, much needed, and thank you so much. And it just makes my birthday that much special to know that I have people that tend to follow me every week, like those of you that are on now, and I do appreciate it. So I know there are more people that will be coming and everything, but again, I do appreciate your support. Thank you so much, Deborah, for being there. Happy birthday to me from Deborah, Val, Robin, Jenny, and Ann that are on so far. And I do know there's a few more that are um, watching because my numbers have gone up. So there's people that are watching that are not coming in, that have not come in. Uh, Thank you so much for joining, Miss Mac, 2011 Miss Mac. Thank you so much. I do appreciate all of the birthday wishes. And, it is such a blessing to have a birthday every year because, as we all know, that doesn't happen to everybody. So every time the Father blesses me to see another year, I am grateful, even though it means I'm getting older and older and older. That's a blessing in itself because oftentimes people don't get a chance to get older. So here we are. My mom passed away at a very young age. I was very young. She was young. And so I didn't have a mom growing up. She left way, way too soon, way, way, way early. So I'm more than twice her age that she was when she passed. So, you never ever know what your blessings are going to be. And just to be able to be here in the land of the living, being fabulous. I'm not going to tell you guys how old I am, though. Don't even ask. Hi, Jan. How you doing? Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. Thank you, Betty. How you doing? Thank you so much for the hey, old lady. You got that right. You have that right. My best girlfriend and I are the same age. She's a couple of months younger than me. She's a September baby. I'm a July baby. Same year. And we for years refused, and I mean years, after we reached the golden senior age where you can actually get senior discounts, we totally refused to even accept the fact that we were getting old. That was just something that we didn't even entertain. It was just like off the tape. I'm not getting old. I'm not getting old. And every year it was the same. And added a decade on and a decade on, and it was like it was the same. But we finally got to the point when the aches and pains start coming in. We had to finally just sit down and say, well, I guess we're getting old. When those aches and pains wake you up and follow you throughout the day and don't let you go, then that's when you have to say, well, yeah, I guess I am getting old. So again, as I mentioned a minute ago, it is truly a blessing to be um, above ground and able to celebrate this birthday that I'm having. It's not a milestone, um, but it is a blessing to be here. And Miss Mac, you said you never tell your age. I don't really mind telling my age, to be perfectly honest about it. I tell people all the time how old I am. Again, like I said, so many people don't live to get this age, and so I don't see it as an embarrassment or anything to hide. My grandmother, well, the whole time that I knew my grandmother, she never would tell us her age ever. I did not know how old my grandmother was until she got sick. And I had to start taking care of her and naturally going through her papers and what have you and stuff like that. And I discovered her true age. And I was like, I don't know why. I do know people. I have friends that just won't tell you their age, but that's okay. No big deal. It's nobody's business but yours to share or not to share. But again, I am celebrating my birthday. My birthday will be Thursday, July 11th, 7/11. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, that's good luck. You should have good luck and stuff." And I guess I do have good luck in some aspects, but I definitely don't have good luck when it comes down to the casinos and stuff, playing the lottery. None of that stuff. I don't have good luck with that. So, but anyway, I have my happy birthday um, background up, so the green screen, so you'll see all the little fuzzy fuzzies and stuff as I move around. Hopefully, that's not too distracting to you. I'm going to try not to move around as much, so it won't be too much of a distraction. But I just wanted to put up the little happy birthday banner for me for tonight. Hi Danielle, how you doing? Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. Yes, thank you for stopping by. So I'm not going to talk about my birthday the entire night. You can only say happy birthday to yourself for so many times. And Miss Max, it started when I was young because people would judge me according to the age group. Used to tick me off, so I stopped telling. You know what? That does happen. That definitely does happen. You are right. Um, I noticed that, to be honest about it, when I started my channel and I celebrated a birthday. And anybody goes back and look at all my videos, you'll see where I had a birthday party to myself for myself when I was still in Florida, and I told my age and I did all of that stuff. And I mean, like I said, I don't really hide it, to be honest about it. But what I did notice was I started getting more of an older crowd, which there's nothing wrong with that because like minds, like people, we do things, we have commonality. So that's not an issue. But I did feel like it was a little bit constraining, I guess, a little bit, especially with subscriptions, people subscribing, and people that are missing out on what I may have to offer because they may think, well, I don't want to, go on her channel because she's old and stuff like that. But if you're new to embroidery or you do any type of embroidery using the 10 needle brother machine or anything like that, then you can definitely benefit from the information that I provide on my channel, regardless of what your age group is. But I did notice that because when we get the analyticals, they do all kinds of breakdowns and everything like that. And one of the breakdown is the age group that watches. And I noticed that I garner an older crowd. But again, like mine. So it doesn't matter to me one way or the other. But I just have to let the people out there that's watching, if you happen to be in the younger crowd and you passing me up because you think I'm too old, that's your problem, not mine. Because you're going to miss out on some stuff. I'm telling you, I got information that you probably could use, especially if you're new to embroidery. So don't let age be a deterrent from following anybody because regardless of whether you're young or old or what have you, I'm pretty sure if you know anything about what it is you're talking about, you can be a benefit to certain people. Hi, Taisha. Thank you for stopping by. And you said I shared my birthday date with a friend of yours, 7/11. Yeah. You know what was interesting? I think I told you guys last week that I had a procedure to do the day after the 4th. So I was celebrating my 4th of July on a liquid diet. Well, anyway, I had my procedure and it was kind of funny. The anesthesiologist, the GI doctor, and myself, we were 1, 2, 3 days behind each other. 9th, 10th, and 11th of July. I thought that was such a strange coincidence that here I am, and the people that were taking care of me, we all were sharing the same birthday month, but not only that, the same birthday week. That was really, really funny. The 9th, the 10th, and the 11th. We were all in the room together, obviously, in the operating suite, and didn't have an operation. But anyway, um, and we were discussing it and talking about it and stuff like that. So they said, well, you know what? My birthday is the 9th and my birthday is the 10th. I said, well, we got the 9th, 10th, and 11th. We got it covered. We must be some really special people. But I am a Cancer, and Cancers are known to be caring, nurturing, mothering, loving, emotional, all of those kinds of things, and that fits me to a T. So I guess I am a true Cancer because all of those traits are something that I do happen to have. So I'm an emotional person. Not to say that I'm a pushover or anything, but I'll cry at the drop of a hat. I'll cry if I'm mad, sad, happy, stressed, whatever the situation is. I kind of will let it flow out. But once the flow comes, I'm good. I remember when I interviewed for nursing school. And the dean of nursing was asking me how well do I handle stress and how do I handle stress. And I just gave her one simple answer. And I said, I cry. And she thought that was pretty good. I said, that's what I do. If I'm stressed, I cry. Whatever kind of stress it is, good stress, bad stress, whatever kind of stress, because it's the steam and it builds up. And once I let that go, then I'm good. I'm good for another round there. But that's just me. So I guess that's all part of being a Cancer. Yeah, so but I tell people don't let these tears fool you, honey. Do not get that twisted. Not at all. Hi, Carol. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the birthday wish. And as you say, happy birthday. Age is just a number. In my case, it's a big number, but still just a number. Yes, well, mine's a big number too, but it is just a number, and it's a blessing for that number to be there. So, okay, I said that I'm not going to talk about my birthday all night long, but I do appreciate everybody wishing me a happy birthday and all of that. That is so greatly appreciated. I'm celebrating the whole month, so next week, who knows, I might have another banner up, and you never know. I may even have cake. You have no, I don't even know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to celebrate the entire month. It's my birthday month, not just my birthday, but my birthday month. So I am very, very thankful to be here. So what I decided to do, I mentioned that we were going to talk about a few little issues and stuff. And one of the things that really creeped up on me because I'm doing my Etsy shop. And I'm selling tiles on Etsy and I'm doing various different designs and stuff. And because of the different designs that I'm doing for my different listing, I'm having to change my thread practically. Well, every time I do a design, I'm either adding thread, taking thread away, or whatever. So it's a lot of thread that I noticed that I felt like I'm wasting a lot of thread. And I don't know if anybody else feels that way or thinks that way or have noticed that or anything like that. So I wanted to talk about it. And I have to let you know, I Googled, I went on YouTube, I did the I did everything I could to find any type of hack, suggestion, recommendation, or what have you, in a way to not waste so much thread when you're changing thread on your multi-needle machine. Now, you do use thread a lot when you're having a single needle machine, but I think it's even more so. Matter of fact, I know it's more so because it has a longer path to travel when you're using a multi-needle machine and you're changing your thread. Now, I would assume all of you know, or most of you know, any beginners out here may not be aware, but when you're changing thread on your multi-needle machine, you don't rethread everything. That would drive you crazy. You simply tie it off. You know, you put your new cone on and cut the thread, tie it, and pull it through. That's where the waste to me comes because you're pulling such a long stream of thread. And I start noticing it accumulating in my trash bin. I was like, that's a lot of thread. And thread is not cheap. So I was like, is there a way? And if anybody out there knows of, and I don't think there is, to be honest about it, because like I said, I did all the research I could think of. I checked all the areas that I could think of, and I couldn't find any kind of recommendation hack or anything that says if, I guess it isn't any way to save thread. But if anybody knows, put that out there because I do appreciate that. Um, so I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer for myself or for anybody else other than that's just the way it is. When you have to change thread, you got to pull it through. And I don't know what else you can do with it. And these glasses, as you can see, are big and they keep slipping down. I had them adjusted today. I don't think I'm going to ever get them adjusted the way I need them to be because they might get too tight behind my ear. But I just noticed that they keep slipping because they're big and they're heavy. What can I say? But I wanted big glasses, so I just have to pay the consequences of big glasses. So if you see me constantly pushing my glasses up, that's the thing. I just feel like they're slipping. But anyway, that's the deal with the thread. So if anybody, like I said, got any information on that, because I did mention that I wanted to talk about it, and I tried to find something, and I couldn't find anything. Now, my question is, what do you do with your thread that you collect? Do you pitch it? Do you save it? Do you make something with it? What do you do? I've heard people save it and make pin cushions. I've heard people just save and put them in a jar. Heaven only knows why they do that, but they do. I don't know. But I personally don't save the thread. And maybe that's why I feel like it's such a waste because I pitch it. I don't save the thread. I don't do anything else with the thread. Um, I don't see a need to make any pin cushions unless I was making pin cushions to give away or whatever, any something like that. But I don't see any need to keep it to make pin cushions. So, Robin, you say you throw it away. You guess it's wasteful. Yes, it feels kind of wasteful to me, but that's what I do with it. I don't know what anybody else does with their thread. Um, Hi, Karen. How you doing? Thank you for stopping by. And thank you for the birthday wish. I do appreciate it. Um, so, if anybody has any good suggestions or what have you about what to do with thread and the wastefulness of thread and stuff like that, just chime in and we can talk about it. So, the other thing I decided to talk about because the situation occurred, I'm always looking at YouTube channels and Facebook groups and what have you, and noticing people asking questions about different things and how to do certain things and stuff. I decided that I would just kind of do um, a little talk about troubleshooting for, if you're having issues with something not stitching correctly and what you can do. Some of the things that you should do if you're experiencing some of that. Because even though we talk about it often, a lot of times people don't remember or they didn't hear about it or whatever the case may be. But I'm going to go over a little bit of that. And then also I decided to talk a little bit about what's trending for 24, the summer of 24. So Danielle, you say you put your thread in a clear Christmas ornament labeled with the year to celebrate all the threads that you've used for that particular year. Okay, that's interesting. It's different. And you're going to show me on the Zoom. Okay, great. Show Robin. Show me, whatever. That's cool. That at least you're doing something productive with it and not throwing it away. Taisha, you use yours to sew small seams and to sew buttons on your baby knit. See, take it, leave it up to Taisha. She doesn't waste her thread, so she keeps her thread and she uses it to hand stitch. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about when you're making small things. That would drive me crazy. Trying to, I'm not that patient. There's a lot of thread in my trash, so that I'm not that patient. And you got to straighten it out and put it where I don't know. Good idea though. Leave it to Taisha. She's going to make it useful, but that's good. It isn't being wasted, and that that's where I'm coming from. I just feel like it's such a waste to throw it away, because again, as you know, thread is not cheap. So what I did, I said, what are some steps, and this is the AI, what are some steps to troubleshoot when you have uneven stitches in your embroidery machine? And the AI, and they're talking pretty much about your single needle machine. Um, so those of you using single needle machines, uh, simulate your stitching um, with the hand wheel. Instead of starting your machine and watching the problem happen quickly over and over again, set everything up and instead slowly turn the hand wheel on the right of the machine to advance the needle stitch by stitch, just to see how and where the issue is, and then troubleshoot from there. Number two, evaluate the upper thread path. Always, if you have some type of stitching issue, check your thread path to make sure it is still threaded correctly. Doesn't matter whether, okay, I checked it and it was fine when I started. Uh, that thread has a way of hopping out some kind of way, and it will. And you think it's threaded correctly, and then you go check and you realize it especially on a multi needle where they have the various tensions as you go down, where it has hopped out of the tension and everything like that, and you didn't realize it. So the first thing you need to do is check the thread path to make sure that the machine is still threaded correctly. And it says clean your upper thread path using a small brush where accessible, where you can clean, and you can also run a piece of unwaxed dental floss through as if you're threading your machine. And again, that's for your single needle machine. And lots of little threads can get stuck in the innards of your machine, causing issues. Now, I have some unwaxed floss, and I was going through my sewing box, my big sewing box that I have that I got full of stuff from when I first started embroidery, and I saw it, and I couldn't remember the exact purpose, the exact reason why. And so that obviously is one of the reasons why I bought it, where you can use a piece of unwaxed dental floss and run it through the thread path to clean it out and make sure there's no lint or any pieces of thread or anything stuck. Now, you may not realize it, but we found this out the other night. The tiniest piece of thread or lint or dust can get into that sewing mechanism area, your bobbin area, uh, your needle plate area, and wreak havoc. It will mess up that stitching. You will be surprised. So there are certain steps that I follow every time I have an issue with my stitching not stitching correctly. The first thing that I do is check my needle. I try to keep a log as to when I changed my needle, so I'll know about how long I've been using a particular needle. I don't keep up with how many stitches on that particular needle, or even so much. Well, I do keep up with how many days because, like I said, I have a log. I list the needle, the type of needle that I put in, whether it's a 7511 ballpoint sharp or if it's a different specialty needle or whatever, and what number on my machine, on my multi-needle machine, and the date that I changed it. That's what I always list. So if I start having issues, the first thing I do is pull out my little booklet and I check and see when was the last time I changed this needle. And if it seems like it's been a minute, being a minute means several weeks. I'm not going to say several days unless I've been doing a lot of stitching. If I've been doing a lot of stitching, which sometimes when I have a decent sized order or something, then I know I've done a lot of stitching. Then I don't go weeks, I go days. And then I'll change it. But I will check and see when was the last time it was changed. And if it looks like it needs to be changed, I'll go ahead and change that, even though I haven't checked anything else, because first thing I'm looking at, that needle probably needs to be changed anyway. Then the next thing I do, I check to see if it's threaded correctly, if it hopped out or whatever. The other thing is check your spool, because sometimes your thread will get kind of hung up on the rack a little bit and it's not pulling through smoothly. And that can cause an issue. So check that, especially with needle breaking and threading. Then after I check the if it's threaded correctly, change the needle, and it's still acting up, then I take the needle throat plate off. So that silver plate that's underneath the just above the bobbin. I unscrew those two screws. I take it off and I clean it out. I got a little brush. I brush it out. I'll take tweezers, and if I can pick out any kind of threads, little cuts of threads, and you'll be surprised when you open it up. Usually, you're going to find something, even if it's only one or two pieces of little pieces of thread. That will cause an issue. So I take that out. I brush it out. I'll even get my vacuum. I have a small vacuum, and I'll blow it out. No canned air, never use canned air. And so I do that and I see if that works. Check your bobbin. Make sure that your bobbin is clean. You may have to use a business card and clean the little space out on your bobbin case, and make sure that that doesn't have any lint or anything in there. You may even need to change your bobbin. You know, sometimes you just need to change your bobbin, put a fresh bobbin in there. And after I've done all of those things, usually it will stitch correctly. Usually. So those are basically the 4 steps that I go through routinely when I have a stitching issue of any kind. And like I said, 99% of the time that corrects the issue, and then I can move on. If none of those things that you do correct the issue, then you have to look further. Maybe there's something wrong with the design, the stabilizer. You don't have it stable enough. You might have to, if it's at all possible, add another piece of stabilizer to it, you know, to the bottom of it, and tape the edge or something like that, or maybe even pin it if you can, where it doesn't get hit by the needle or whatever, because it needs to be a little bit more stability. You didn't do that, especially with puckering and stuff, if you're having those kinds of issues. So you just have to do your troubleshooting to see if you can figure out what your issue is. So I jumped the gun a little bit, because after you check, do the waxing and stuff, it says number 3, check the needle. Replace your needle to rule out a burl, dull, or bent needle, and try a new needle of the correct size and type. Make sure you do have the correct size and type. You may be using a ballpoint needle sharp or vice versa, so you need to check on that depending upon what it is that you're stitching and what the fabric is. Address possible bobbin and needle plate issues. So you, like I said, take the needle plate off and clean it out, clean out the bobbin. Then it also says restart your machine. All else fails, I am a big proponent of shutting something down and starting all over. I learned that when I first started using a computer. I shut that puppy down in a minute and let it reboot and start all over. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it doesn't hurt. You never know. So restart the machine. Sometimes simply restarting the machine can solve many problems. And then number 6, pick a different embroidery design. If you're still having issues, try a different embroidery design to see if the problem persists. So, you know, check and see if it'll stitch another design better. So it might be the design that you're stitching. Check your speed. You might need to slow it down. A lot of times people don't think about slowing it down, depending upon what you're doing. You might need to slow your machine down. Adjust your tension. Now, when it comes down to adjusting tension on the multi-needle machine, I personally don't mess with my tension when it gets maintained, when the maintenance guy does what they do. I try to let it stay there. Every once in a while, I'll tweak it just a slight bit, but I try my best not to do any type of adjustment of the tension for my bobbin or the top. Now, Justin, the maintenance machine maintenance person said you really don't need to do any kind of bobbin tension on the 10 needle machine. As far as adjusting the bobbin case, he did not recommend that you do that. So you will read in certain instances where they suggest that you do. There is a little screw there, and there is a little screwdriver that'll fit there, and some people will do an adjustment on their bobbin. That's up to you, depending upon how you feel about it, if you think that works. As far as adjusting the tension on the machine, again, that's up to you, depending upon how you feel about it and how that works for you. Um, Oftentimes, if you use the right stabilizer, the right needle for the right fabric and the right design, you may not have to do anything to the tension on your machine. At least that's what I have found to be the case. But again, that's a personal decision. And it does go on to say check your material and technique. Make sure you're using the right materials and technique for your project, which also includes how you hoop. And that's how you can troubleshoot and figure out if you're having some stitching issues. So just keep that in mind. Um, those 4 little things that I mentioned, I recommend that you run those things through every time you're having some type of issue. I do it without even thinking about it, and I can run through it quickly. It's no big deal. And like I said, between step 1 to step 4, usually I have fixed the problem and I'm able to move on with my project. Rarely do I have to have any issues where um, maintenance is needed, calling somebody in. I've been blessed with that. I haven't had that happen, except for that one time where that little bitty tip of a needle broke off and got set somewhere it shouldn't have gone and locked up my machine. But usually during those steps, I'm able to move forward with my project. Hi, Becky. How you doing? Thank you for stopping by, and thank you for the birthday wish. And hi, Pearl. How are you? Thank you for the birthday wish. And Solar Creation, again, how you doing? Thank you for the birthday wish. And Marissa, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the birthday wish. I do appreciate it. It is a blessing to have a birthday. My birthday is on Thursday, so Lord's will, I will see my next birthday in a couple of days. Um, Another thing I want to bring up, the question always comes up. Hi, all things Sean. How you doing? You're late to the party, but that's okay. You are more than welcome to come to the party. Hey, it's my birthday. It's my birthday. Hey, hey, hey. I do appreciate you stopping by. Um, the other thing I want to talk about is when do you change your needle? That has been something that is so funny to me. I have talked to people that tell me they do not change their needle until the needle breaks. Regardless, they will use that same needle until the end of time. if it never breaks. And that just blows my mind. I cannot believe that. But I have honestly spoken to people that don't change their needles. They just feel like, um, I guess they feel like it's wasteful. I guess like I do with pulling the thread through and everything. Or they don't like changing the needle because, they're not proficient at it because they don't do it often enough. That's why they're not proficient at it. But you can't do that. Anybody out there that's listening to me that is new to embroidery and all of this is something that you're still trying to learn and figure out. The one thing that you do have to do is make sure you stay on top of your needles. Buy you a bunch of needles. They're not that expensive. You can get them off of Amazon. I recommend if you do a lot of embroidery to get you a box of 100 or a box of 50s, and so you'll have plenty of needles where you can change them often and do that. Needles wear and tear. They do. Embroidery needles are like any other tool. They undergo wear and tear over time. A worn needle exhibits a reduction in length and dull, sharp point. The wear can result in inconsistent stitching and decrease in overall embroidery quality. We mentioned that a few minutes ago. And you can tell, I mean, honestly, you can tell when your needle needs to be changed. So pay attention, keep a log. Remember when you change your needle, what needle that you change if you're using a multi-needle machine, or if you're using a regular one, a single needle machine. Just, don't just let it stitch and stitch and stitch until it breaks. That's not a good idea. So if you get inconsistent stitches, which we talked about, it becomes less efficient in piercing your fabric. So you're not going to get that good stitch out. Um, you get skipped stitches, you get thread breaks, you get uneven tension, you get the loops. Yeah, you get a whole lot of stuff, and therefore your embroidery project is not going to turn out looking very nice. And you can tell that I've seen where the needle needed to be changed. And oftentimes that may be the only thing that is the problem, that you just need to put a new needle in. A worn out needle can damage your material as well. So don't think that it can't snag your material, especially if you're using delicate material. It can snag it, tear the material, and lead to a costly mishap. So that's another reason why you should change your needle. And it also can, troubleshooting issues. Many common embroidery machine troubleshooting issues can be traced back to a worn needle. If you've been experiencing thread breakage, bird nest, underside, bird nest is on the other underside of the fabric, or uneven stitches, it may be time for you to change your needle. Shredding also is a good evidence of your needle needs to be changed. Dull, bent, or broken needles, you definitely can't sew like that. You can't embroider like that. Excuse me. And like I said, you're going to get skip stitches, uneven density, and loose thread. And all of those are signs of the fact that you need to change your needle. Now, you need to read your manual to see if it states in your manual how often you should change your needle. I don't think my machine tells me how often I should change my needle, but you can read about different recommendations or hear about them on YouTube. And on here, it says a general guideline is consider changing your needle every 8 to 16 hours if you do heavy usage. So a lot of people that do commercial sewing, embroidery, they will either change needle after each project or every day. Now, if you do moderate embroidery, then it is recommended every 350 to 450,000 stitches is when you should change your needle. Now, unless you're checking your count, and I don't know when I've done, 350 to 450 stitches, I don't keep up with it that way. I do my log and I look at my dates when I last changed it. And also I let my by project determine whether or not it needs to be changed. Because if I'm noticing any kind of issues with it stitching, if it's not stitching the way that I feel like it should stitch, if stuff is not looking the way it should be, if I'm getting some skip stitches or some loops or anything like that, thread break, threading, those kinds of things, then the first thing that comes to mind to me, you need a new needle in there. Regardless of, even I have changed the needle where I changed it the day before, and I noticed that I was having some issue on that particular needle, and I pulled it out and changed it again. Because you can get a defective needle. Just because you changed it doesn't mean it's a good needle. It was tooled somewhere, and it can be defective. So you could have put a bad needle in there, and it just needs to be changed again. So don't say, well, I just put the needle in yesterday and it doesn't need changing because it's a new needle. It could very well need changing if you're having issues on that with that particular needle. So pull that puppy out, put a new one in there. It's not going to cost you that much money. Just like I said, buy your needles in bulk. Make sure that you have enough needles so you can just keep rolling. And make sure that you put it in a safe container. Don't just put your needles in the trash where people can get stuck and stuff like that. The trash people have to handle that, and you don't want people getting stuck. So I recommend that you use like old medicine bottle or something along that line. That's what I use. And I just drop my needles in there and keep it. And whenever it gets full, it's not full yet. There's a lot of needles in there, but it's not full. Whenever it gets full, then you can just pitch it that way, and therefore nobody's going to get stuck. But just don't be stingy with your needles, pretty much is what I'm saying. Don't be stingy with your needle. So, hi, all things done. Sean, you said you give a lot of good info. I give a lot of good information on Virgin. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Well, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. I try. I try. I want to make sure that people, I can share what I have learned through what I've experienced and read and seen and all of that with other people that watch me. And again, people always be starting to embroider. It's a very popular. Well, thank you so much for the super sticker, Val. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Thank you. My happy birthday present. Hey, 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 hey. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Um, but yes, thank you so much, all things Sean, because I enjoy sharing what I've learned. I have been blessed to watch people such as yourself and other people and have learned things. And then I share what I know. So, it's a lot of people out here that are still trying to learn and understand and remember. And a lot of people are kind of shy or nervous because they think, oh my goodness, this machine, I don't want to break it because it's expensive and all that stuff. So with all of us that does have some information to share, we do share it. The information is out there. So thank you so much. I'm glad that I'm able to provide useful information to whomever is paying attention. Um, now, I talking about maintenance. I do have a video. I did a live. That's what it was. I did a live right after my machine decided it wanted to act up, and I had the machine technician come out and he fixed it lickety split like that, and he gave me some pointers on what to do. So I discussed that and talked about the maintenance and all of those kinds of things that should be done. So it is on a live. I don't remember the exact date. That's been about 3 months ago or so. So it's been that long. Yeah, it's been that long. I haven't done a video in that length of time. So I'm really, really, really behind. But anyway, I just wanted to reiterate a little bit. Regularly clean your machine to prevent the dust. Now, they recommend that you clean your machine uh, every day after use, dust it off and cover it. Now, I don't cover my machine, and to be honest about it, I don't dust it off every day. I should, but I don't. But keeping it clean, um, helps it to maintain its usefulness longer. They recommend you use a soft lint-free cloth or microfiber cloth to wipe down the surface, and a soft bristle brush used to clean the hard-to-reach area. And you can also use a makeup brush to clean out the bobbin. Now, I clean my bobbin case area every day. When I start my machine up and I oil it, I do the cleaning, all of that. I do that every day. I don't miss a day without doing my brushing and cleaning and oiling my bobbin area. Now, it mentions about lubricating your machine. Now, we're not supposed to lubricate the Brother PR 1055X, only the bobbin. My Brother SE 1900, we don't lubricate. Now, I do know full commercial machines get lubricated, like All Things Done. You have the Vacoma, and I believe you have the 1501. And I'm pretty sure you have to do the lubricating of that and buy the lubrication oil and all of that. Now, that's not something we do with the Brother machine. Now, I had been told or heard on YouTube somewhere, as far as my machine, the Brother machine, to lubricate the bars, the pad, the felt pads on the bar of our needle, the needle bar. But when Justin came out, he advised me not to do that because he said that would break down the the felt. So I've not done that. He did say that you can lubricate the bar itself, but not the felt. But how often that is to be done is up for discussion because there's nothing that specifically says what the time frame is, whether you do it once a month, every 3 months, or whatever. I believe it's pretty much left up to how often you use it, whether or not you do that. But again, I'm not recommending anymore that you lubricate the felt on your 10 needle machine because, like I said, Justin, the machine technician advised me not to, so I have not, because it makes sense. If you keep putting oil on that little piece of felt, it will eventually break down, and there's, you can't put any more on without having someone come in and take it apart and put the felt on there or whatever, and that's money. So I'm not going to do that. So as far as lubricating my two machines that I have, both brothers, I don't lubricate the SE 1900 at all, not even the bobbin area. And my PR 1055X, I do lubricate the bobbin area. But read your manual and do what it recommends and what it tells you to do as far as any type of lubrication is concerned. We talked about needle placement. Thread quality is also important, and all of this as far as maintaining your machine. You want to use good thread. You don't want to use thread that will put off a lot of lint, and cotton thread does that. And I'm not saying don't use cotton thread because there are some things that works really well with using cotton thread. Quilting is one, but keep in mind that cotton thread does throw off a lot of lint. And with that being said, you have to be very diligent in keeping your machine clean if you're going to use any type of thread that does that. But back to quality thread. Um, I bought thread off of Amazon, that Bro thread, and I think it was Sim thread. The Sim thread did not do well in my SE 1900 at all. Now, I have been able to use the Sim thread on my 10 needle machine. I don't use it often, but they had some very beautiful thread colors, and I have used it sparingly. But my go to thread is Floriani Uh, I've used Floriani, Sulky, Madeira, um, Metro EMB. I think that's it. I think those are the threads that I've used. I think I have one or two coats, but I know the thread that I use is pretty good thread. I don't really use any quote unquote cheap thread or inexpensive thread or poor quality thread. I put it that way. As far as the cost is concerned, I'm gonna get it as cheap as I can. The Floriani is usually $4.59. I get it from sewing machines and parts, I believe, online, or you can get it from R&K. If you buy it out of your quilting shop, you're gonna, at least in my quilting shop, it's $8 and some odd cent per spool. So it's twice as much going to the quilting shop than it is for me to order it. So I just wait until I have an order where I can get free shipping, and then I just order up a bunch of thread and go from there. So I don't have to worry about paying that premium price unless it's a color I have to have right now, and I don't have time to wait for it to be mailed. Thank you, Robin. Hi, thank you for the super sticker. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Um, Tension checks, we talked about tension check, software or firmware updates. Now, make sure you keep your machine updated. Whatever machine you have should have a mechanism of if it's computerized, it should have some type of mechanism to inform you that you need to update the firmware or software on your machine. On the brother machine, we used to get an email. Now, um, it puts up a exclamation mark to tell you that an update is available. And if you don't do it within a certain period of time, then your exclamation mark turns red. Urgent. Change your update your firmware, and then it's it's wireless. So I love the way it works. You used to have to put the USB in and all of that kind of stuff. But you don't have to put the USB um, the USB stick in. You just it's just wireless, so it's so good. But I do keep up with it and make sure that I have all the updates. Now I've not done any kind of updating anything on my SE 1900, so I guess I have to look it up. The last time I was on the brother site, I don't think it gets updated or anything like that. If it does, you guys know. Robin, you have an SE 1900. Do you do any updating on your SE 1900? Because I have not. But keep your machine software or firmware up to date. You want to get the latest and greatest of whatever it is, and you want to keep it maintained properly by using it the way it's meant to be used. And whenever they have an update, they will let you know, hopefully, in some manner. Proper storage. Store your machine properly to prevent dust accumulation and potential damage. Now, it's kind of funny. I was reading something, and on here, this person that was talking was mentioning leaving her machine on, and she burned out her screen, and it cost her $400 to get a new one. So she highly recommends that you turn your machine off. So please turn your machine off. I turn my machine off every time, every day when I leave. I have it has it has a mechanism, not mechanism. It has the software that allows you to set it up where it will pretty much shut down over a period of time. So I have that set up where if I don't use it within, I believe, a 2 hour period or whatever, then it just shuts down on its own. So I have that set up. So if you have your machine, a machine that will do something like that, go ahead and do that just in case you forget, walk away, or something happens. Your machine is shut down. But I definitely make sure that my machine is turned off every day. I don't leave it on overnight at all. And I do have it hooked up to a surge protector. make sure you have your investment hooked up to a surge protector. With all this crazy weather that's going on now and all of that, you want to make sure that you do have your machine protected. So make sure it is hooked up to a surge protector and turn your machine off every day. And you might want to even unplug it. Doesn't whatever you're comfortable with. Um, and then, of course, get your machine maintained at least once a year, whatever your manual says, but it is pretty much standard that you do it at least once a year, that you have your routine maintenance checkup with a professional technician to look at any wear tear issue you may have, or make sure it's in good running condition, make sure it gets a thorough oiling, lubricating. I had the pleasure of watching Justin when he came. He's the machine technician that travels in the Maryland, the DMV area, and he undressed my machine. My machine was naked. Oh my goodness! He took all of the plastic stuff, all of it, and I could see all the inner workings of the machine and all of the components, all of the computer boards and what have you, all of that I could see. And then he did a good oil, and he just had his little oil can, and he was squirting oil all over for that machine. So it got a good bathing of oil as well. So you want to that's how it gets lubricated. That's why we don't lubricate it, because they want you to do it once a year and to make sure that it is professionally done. It's not saying that you don't lubricate your machine doesn't need lubricate. It's just that you have to take all the stuff off of it to get to the area that needs to be lubricated, and they want that to be done by professionals. So that's why. But it's a machine. It needs lubricating. And Robin, you said you did once, but you haven't heard of any updates on the SC 1900. I don't think I ever have. I have to check it. And yeah, so I have to check on that, because I don't think I've done any updating on my SC 1900. And Miss Mack, you said your machine is so good. Madeira, exquisite, and Floriana get beat up. Candle, bro thread, and silver thread works just fine. I'm missing my wine, y'all. I keep forgetting to go get some. I'm telling you, I've gotten busy here lately, and I just have not. I got a big supply of wine back during the holidays. We had just a ton of it. Now it's all gone. I think I got one bottle somewhere. And I got lazy because I used to go and get a bottle of wine every Tuesday or Monday, because, for Wine Down Tuesday. And I would go get my one bottle of wine or two bottle of wine, and that was it. And so once I bought this big stash of wine that I had, I just kind of got away from the habit of going to get it every week. And now I forget about it. So I got to catch up. I got to get another big stash of wine so I'll have it. But right now I'm okay. But yeah, I got to get back to drinking my wine, y'all. I'm missing my wine, my Stella Rosa. Any Stella Rosa lovers out there? Because I love Stella Rosa wine. Well, how you get on machine? That is so funny. My machine, I guess, is bougie because it wasn't having it. It wasn't having it. That's funny. Um, the last thing on the maintenance they have, cover your machine. Make sure you keep your machine covered. I don't. I should. I've been wanting to make a little plastic thing or buy it or whatever to cover my machine. My husband has told me I need to cover it and all of that stuff. And I'm just being hard headed because I haven't done it, and I really need to do that. I tell you, I'm not going to want to take it on, put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off. But that's what you're supposed to do, cover your machine. I don't even have I had the covering for my SE 1900, and some kind of way it got misplaced, and so I don't even have a covering for that. That's an easy fix. Both of them are easy fix because you can buy them. I just haven't done it. So now I got to break down and do it because I know that's what you need to do. So you need to keep your machine dust free. And I don't know if I missed it. I don't remember mentioning it. But talking about thread, you need to keep your thread covered as well. Now, I had my thread up on the wall on the pegboard from day one, and I love that look. I still love that look. I see people with their pegboards on their wall with all of their thread displayed and all of that stuff, and it looks really cool and everything. But it's not good for your thread, as we all probably know, because it gets dusty. It can dry out. It can fade out from the sun. All of those things is what they say is not good for your thread. Therefore, they said that you need to have your thread uh, in storage. I bought some plastic container things, and that didn't work well at all. So I got rid of those, and now I have my thread in a chest of drawers that I bought from, I believe, Michael's. You have to put it together. That's the only downfall. I got it on sale. It looks like what you buy out of IKEA. It's white. Uh, I forgot what you call this material, parcel board or whatever. Something good parcel board because it's nice and thick. It's a good quality because it costs enough. I got it on sale half price. Um, and my husband had to put it together, which he said was not the easiest task. But that's what I keep my thread in now. And I'm very happy and glad that I have it in a drawer. I've always wanted my thread in a drawer once I realized having it up on the wall was not the thing that you should do, even though that's what it looks. It looks good. But having it in a drawer is a pretty good way to go. Now, I'm pretty sure most of you are aware that Madeira sells drawers for thread, or that you could even buy the thread in a drawer. Madeira thread is not cheap. If you bought their, I don't know how many, I think 3 drawers, I believe, 3 or 4 drawers, it's like $1,700 or more for the 3 drawers of thread. Um, and it's in the drawer itself. So, I mean, that's a thought. Or you could just buy the drawers without the thread. And I forgot how much they cost, but they're like up in the hundreds of dollars. It's not like it's $200-300 or more, I think. Last time I looked at that. Um, but those are, you know, that's one option. But the option that I chose is a much more cost-effective option because the drawer set out of Michael, this cabinet, it's on wheels. You got to put it together. Runs for $119, I believe. But if you catch it on sale, then I got it at 50% off. So I got it for $60, which I thought was reasonable. It wasn't so bad. The only thing that is bad is it has to be put together. So if you don't know how to do it, or you don't have somebody that can do it for you, then that becomes a challenge. I don't know. There used to be years ago when I lived in St. Louis, where you actually could hire people that had like a business that went around doing that, put things together. I don't even know if that exists anymore. If people do that anymore, but you can research that and see if there's someone you can hire to come and put your stuff together and it's reasonable. I don't know. But anyway, that's a thought because I know I want more. Right now, the one drawer that I have holds all my thread. And I have my Floriani thread is what, 1, 2, 5 drawers. And I have my Floriani thread that I have currently is the top 2 drawers. And I have quite a bit of Floriani. And then the bottom thread is the thread that I've always had, the Metro, EMB, and Madeira, and just a bunch of different threads. Um, and I try to keep them separated mainly because of the Etsy shop that I have, because all of the designs that I'm putting on my listings, my towels, I'm using Floriani thread. Therefore, I can be consistent because every time I do a towel, I record what the color is and everything, so I can always go back to that same thread, and I can order my Floriani and what have you. Whereas with the other hodgepodge threads that I have, it's not going to be that simple to do because some of the thread numbers came off and the color names and all of that kind of stuff. And it's just, weird. So I said, I'm going to stick with Floriani. I love Floriani thread anyway. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm sticking with that. But I know at some point I'm going to have to um, steal one of those drawers from my Florian, and those threads are going to have to go into those plastic cakes that I still have, but I don't use anymore. But again, it's a good thing that you can get from Michael's. And Danielle, can I share the link for the drawer set from Michael? Yeah, I can. Yeah, Uh, I would look that up. And Jenny, you started drinking Stella Rosa wine. It is so good. It's a good wine, girl. And you know what my wine of taste is now? I love the blueberry and the blackberry. If you like that kind of fruity wine, which you obviously do if you like Stella Rosa, I love their blackberry and their blueberry. Those are my favorite wines. I still do their Asti Spumant, not Asti Spumant. Their Moscata. Their Moscata. I do that, and I do a lot of their other different flavors. But my flavor that I like the most now is blueberry and blackberry of the Stella Rosa. But I do love Stella Rosa wine. Um, Let me see if I can find Michael's and the link. If not, I can give it to you tomorrow night, Danielle, if you're going to be on there. Let's see. Let me see. Oh, y'all making me jump through all these hoops. Come on. It's funny. I just want to find out where the stuff is. I'll find it. I'll get it to you. I'll get it to you. Jenny, I need to try it. Yeah, try the blackberry and the blackberry and the blueberry Stella Rosa wine. I'm still trying to see if I can find this. Why would Timu hop up? Everybody but okay. Here's Michael's. They got them on sale, 30% off now. They're 30% off. This is what it looks like. If well, I don't know if you can see it good. You can't see it good. Um, the item number is called the Modular Mobile Chest by Simply Tidy. And let me see the item number. The item number, I'm going to put that in here. Okay, modular mobile chest by Simply Tidy and Michaels, and the item number is 106-24101. Danielle. So I don't really have a link per se, but I Googled it. If you just Google it, it will pop up. And the price is $119.99. And right now it is on sale 30% off with the code July 30 off. So that make it, I believe it's like set going for 80 some odd dollars, I saw. But yeah, I like it. And it's not very tall. Let me see. It is actually 24 inches tall, 16 inches wide, and 16 inches. Um, the depth is 16 inches and the width is 16 inches, and it's 24 inches tall, and it's 5 drawers. And the drawers are tall enough for your um, thread. And you say you see it. Okay, great. There you go, Danielle. You got it. You got it. Uh, Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit was trends for the rest of the year. I and I'm not going, trust and believe me, I'm not going to beat this horse to death. I'm just going to mention it. Um, Jen from Sewing Report had a patent law attorney on her website this week, a few days ago, if anybody's interested in listening to her uh, in her interview with this gentleman in regards to the patent infringement situation that's going on. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not going to even talk about what he said, so forth and so on, because we've beaten that horse to death, and that horse needs to go away. But I just wanted to bring that up. But the reason I brought it up is because that particular situation was a trend or is a trend. And so it got me thinking about trends. Because, what is the latest trend? The 3D embossed, uh, puff embossed situation was a trend. People been doing 3D boss for heaven only knows how long. But that particular technique is the issue, and the embossed look. But again, it's a trend. It just popped up out of nowhere to me because I hadn't heard of it, seen it. It was here and gone. But with that being said, I said, okay, what other trends are out here that people may or may not be aware of or thinking about that is, you know, popular for now, for 2024. So I looked it up and a couple of different places, and they're basically saying the same thing. And the number one thing it mentions is eco-friendly embroidery. And sustainability has been a rising trend in recent years. And in 2024, eco-friendly embroidery will also become a significant trend. It will only become a more prominent trend in the years to come. And plug. The kitchen towels that I sell on my Etsy shop are eco-friendly, sustainable, 100% cotton. So yes, it is definitely a trend. People are concerned about climate control and the earth and carbon uh, footprints and all that kind of stuff. So we're trying to get more into sustainability. So that is definitely a trend. Eco-friendly embroidery employs eco-friendly resources to make lovely designs such as recycled thread and organic cotton. But anything that can be sustainable or has that sustainability, um, as far as your embroidery, is on trend. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about doing projects, or if you're selling things or making things to sell or what have you. That is one thing that a lot of people look for when they're going to buy something, to see if it's eco-friendly. Number two, bold colors. This year, vivid and bold colors are everywhere. Customers will be looking for fabrics and needlework that make a statement in bold colors, from electric blue to brilliant orange to bright reds, fuchsias, purple, anything that is bright and bold and out there in your face. Subtle, muted colors are not on trend right now. People want some, like what I have on, which is subtle and muted. This is actually peach. May look pink, but it's actually peach, which I like the color, but it's not considered bold and bright and in your face. And that's what's on trend right now. Number three, retro vintage designs. Now, I talked about vintage designs last year. So retro and vintage is definitely in on trend right now. And again, another plug, my designs and my towels, not only are they 100% sustainable cotton, I'm also using a vintage striped uh, towel to put my designs on. So again, I'm on trend. Oh, who's my products are on trend. But older things now have a fresh lease on life. Likewise, it is anticipated that retro-inspired designs will be a major trend in 2024. Think geometric shapes from the 1990s, neon patterns from the 80s, and floral patterns from the 70s. All of these are retro-inspired patterns, and they will hit very well with the lover of of a specific era, or just searching for something different. So, you know, retro, vintage. We talked about going to thrift shops and places like that to get vintage items and then repurposing them. All of that stuff is on trend. You'll be surprised how people get those things and repurpose them, which is the catchphrase, repurpose, and can sell them and make good money. Now, the one thing that you have to um, be very aware of, you have to let somebody know if it is vintage or not new. You have you can't sell it as new. You have to let them know, whoever is buying it, or while you're selling it or you post it or whatever, that it is vintage, that it is secondhand, that it is not brand new. So people know what they're buying. They're not expecting it to be new with a vintage look. If you definitely bought this out of a thrift shop and it's used, that has to be a full disclosure. If you're going to, even if you're going to repurpose it and put a nice design on it or whatever you do to it and then sell it, you have to make the buyer aware of that. That's the law. Oh, wow, I don't know what that was. Hadn't had that happen in a minute. Number four, more monograms. Now, monograms don't look like they're gonna ever go out of style, because that's what made me fall in love with embroidery in the first place a zillion years ago, was monograms. So monograms are on trend. Any kind of personalization continues to be fashionable. So products become more appealing to buyers when they are monogrammed to give them a personalized touch. And people are looking for personalization in apparels and accessories. So those things are on trend. You can never go wrong putting somebody's initial on it, their name on it, or anything along that line. And also, I read in another article with the personalization is photos. Like you can have you can, or you can have your face or your pet or something else digitized and or any kind of beautiful photograph or what have you, and stitch that out. That's also on trend as well. So keep that in mind. That's something that you can do, and you probably can do it yourself. At least that's what I'm going to try to do with the photo, because I got the brother PE design 11 specifically to be able to do that. It can be done in hatches. Well, I need to learn how to do it, but it can be done. And that's one thing that I really, really want to do is to do some photographs, digitize a photo of my my dogs I had. They're not with me anymore, but so I can stitch that out. I'm gonna make a shadow box. And all things Shuns, I've been doing a lot of appliques lately. Okay, okay. Appliques, I love doing appliques. I used to hate them. It's really funny. That was one thing when I first started embroidery that I was petrified. I was so scared to do an applique because the first applique that I got didn't have directions. It didn't tell me nothing about a positional stitch and tack down stitch and all of the different components that with the applique. So I had no clue what I was doing. I was lost. I had the design. I had all of these different components, but I didn't know what to do with them. So I was like, I'm scared. I don't know what I'm gonna make a mess because I didn't know what to do. So I took a course. Eve from the Baby Booty had a little short course on learning how to do appliques. So I took the course from her, and that's what gave me confidence to do appliques. And after that, I did this the tennis shoe from what is it? Disorderly Threads, I believe it is, and did several of them, and that's what got me used to doing appliques. So now I do appliques without even thinking about it. I can cut them out and everything. No big deal. I don't even, I do have to scan and cut, and I may even use it to cut out my applique, but I feel confident with just cutting it myself. But yeah, that's all part of the vintage look, doing a lot of appliques, because it gets to what I was going to say next is texture. Number 5, texture is an essential aspect of embroidery. Customers will be looking for fabrics with a tactile quality in 24, whether it is achieved by using various thread weights or by embellishing designs with fringe or beads or appliques. Um, the strategy is to add texture to your design and set them apart from the competition. So those are the 5 things that they're saying are on trend for 2024, which is eco-friendly embroidery, bold colors, retro vintage designs, monograms, and texture. And they all have made a major comeback. And that's what's on trend for 2024. So keep those things in mind if you're looking for something to do that stands out, that's a little different than just the regular. Um, Everyday stitching, and even when you're looking at designs, if you go and you pick out designs that are floral or geometric or anything that looks vintage, not so much the sketch designs. I'm not a big lover of sketch embroidery. I just, that's not my, I, I don't care for that. I don't care for the blue work, the red work. They're beautiful, but I just like more bold designs and more feel designs. Um, and that's what that bold color you're going to come up with. Like I said, your blues and your greens and your orange and reds and fuchsias and bright yellows and all that kind of stuff that just pops out and stands out and gets seeks attention, and then make that and layer that with different threads, variegated threads, or the different uh, weights of threads. You know, if you get a small weight like a 12, it's a thicker thread, so it looks more like fur, and you can cut it and make the fringes and all of that stuff. Those are designs that you can buy. I've even got one or two of them off of Etsy, where you can do the fringe and everything, and put it on jackets, on totes, on whatever that you want to. You can just, you know me, I love jacket backs, so I could just have field days with the jacket backs and stuff, and just add stuff to it, beads and sequins and rhinestones, and just combine all of that stuff together and just make something beautiful and unique. And you can kind of be free-handed with it, you know. Excuse me. Combine different designs together and create your own. That'd be cool. Go into embroideries and have fun. Do some merging and take away and add and make you a whole brand new design. And when you're doing your colors, just be free with your colors. Get your color wheel. A color wheel will help you know what colors work well with each other, so they don't clash. So you'll have, even though they're bright and bold, you still have it cohesive where it works. Doesn't have to be matchy matchy, but you want to make sure that it makes sense. So if you use a color wheel, that helps you match up your color. Like I know, Taisha, you say you spend a whole lot of time putting colors together and matches, and you know, want to make stuff work. And the trend now is, you know, prints on prints and all of that stuff. It doesn't have to be, you know, solid in a print. It can be a print in a print, a different kind of print and what have you. And a lot of people have a lot of hard time trying to figure that out, how to make it work. But if you figure out how to make it work, it can really turn out to be really pretty when you put in prints and prints together. Miss Mac, you're having your sangria to celebrate my birthday. You have it, girl. You get it. I don't have any. I'm drinking a Sprite right now, but I'm gonna have me something before this month is out. I promise you that. I'm gonna get me a bottle of Stella Rosa, and I'm gonna have my Stella Rosa for next week. Hi, uh, Jeanette, how you doing? Thank you for stopping by, and thank you so much for wishing me a happy birthday. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. I know you're a busy, busy lady, so I do appreciate the time that you take to to come on. And well, I'm not going to do that here, but with you and all things Sean, we we need to get together and I want to have you guys on as a guest. That's what I want to do. I want to have you guys on as a guest. So I need you to reach out to me. Jeanette, you know how to reach me. And all things Sean, you do not, but I'm going to put my email up in here. Reach out to me if you don't mind. I think that we can offer my audience a good conversation with you guys. Of course, at your own leisure, your own time. And I know, Jeanette, you're a very busy lady, so I know that's going to be difficult for you to find time. But I understand. I do appreciate your time. Oh, thank you so much for the super sticker, Miss Mag. Thank you. Thank you. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Um, we talked about, I'm looking at this other article talking about trends. And on this particular one, it talks about maximalism. Instead of minimalism, maximalism. Bigger, bolder, as we mentioned, bigger and bolder, densely stitched designs. That's what I like. I like the densely stitched designs. I don't like the sketch design. Um, you want that richness and everything, layered, textured, as I mentioned, different techniques like your satins and what have you, your couching. I don't know how to couch. I can't couch on my machine. But those of you that have luminaires and the stellaires and so forth, stuff like that, it can definitely do couching on that. And thank you, all things Sean. I appreciate it. You got my email. Thank you. Um, It mentions statement pieces, bold embroidered jackets, bags, and even shoes become statement showcases. Now, I was approached to do some shoes and I turned it down because they were very expensive shoes and I wasn't messing up this person's shoes. I've done boots, I've done tennis shoes. I've not done just a regular shoe. Um, but you can't, if you have the right hoop, you can do it with a mighty hoop. Um, you don't have to have the clamps and stuff like I have, although that helps. Uh, but if you want to embroider on shoes or boots or what have you, you can definitely do that. Thank you, Miss Max. How you? Thank you. Happy birthday. I think I said thank you already, so it popped up again. Thank you. Appreciate it. Um, we talked about flowers. Florals, whimsical wildflowers and tropical paradise, lush tropical leaves, realistic rendering, things that look lifelike. Depictions of flowers and leaves and even insects are showcasing the beauty of the natural world. These things are on trend. And your tropical leaves, exotic flowers, vibrant birds bring a touch of paradise to home. I could just see all of those things on a tote or a jacket back, or even running up the leg of a pair of denim, a pair of jeans. Um, yeah, I can see all of that stuff. Celestial magic. Now I've seen urban threads. They're big with the uh, celestial type of designs. If you use their designs or you go onto their site, they have the constellations and the stars with the moons and all of that kind. I'm not that big into that, but that is on trend. So don't leave that out. And then they mention sun and moon motif, astrological symbols, celestial maps, and mysticism and intrigue to embroidery pieces. They even have, I don't know if this is considered celestial or anything, but they have a lot of dragon and stuff like that as well. But it is suggested that you use glimmering embellishments such as metallic thread sequins and beads and other sparkly things like rhinestones and what have you, and those types of designs that you're creating. And I had mentioned geometric abstracts, geometric shapes, lines, and patterns are in are on trend. Free form stitching, the embrace the beauty of imperfection with free form stitching, allowing the thread to just guide the design. Now, I know there's a lot of free motion looking patterns on my big machine that because I don't do I wouldn't do well with free motion. Mine would look a hot mess. Abstract is not my thing. It is not my thing. I have to have something structured, even though it looks unstructured. It has to be structured, or it ain't gonna work for me. But that's just something that is on trend. And then textural exploration, and that's with the different threads, the different weights, your appliques, all of those kinds of things are on trend. Um, Try different thread weights. Madeira has the 12 weight, and I'm pretty sure you can get different weight thread from other places, but it's a thicker thread. And like I said, you can get these patterns, these designs where you can do the fringes and what have you, and you can do the designs, and then there's a steel wool brush that you use to brush it, and it makes it look like fur if you get the right pattern. And Embroidery Library has a couple of those designs. I have the one that's a lion, and I got the thread and everything to go with it. I haven't stitched it yet. I've had it a while. I got to do that. I did do the Santa Claus and I did the beard and stitched that out. Now it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I haven't done the fringe. I have a pattern to do a fringe flower, I believe it is, but I haven't done it yet. So I got to do that and see how that's going to turn out. And now they say tech infused embroidery. Now, I don't know how that will work. That's blurring the line, as they say. But one suggestion is light up embroidery, where they use LED lights and conductive threads are incorporated into embroidery, creating illuminated designs and sparkle and shine. Now, the only thing that I can think of, which I intend to do, I think they have this glass block project, and you have to get the crafting block because it needs to be open from underneath. And you're going to use, I believe, organza material. And you stitch your design on the organza, and then you will ad- adhere that design onto the glass block back and front, and then put fairy lights up inside, and it illuminates that design that you stitched, and make it's a light, and it can be used like as a Christmas decoration or any other holiday decoration, depending upon what design that you use to cover the block. It's really cute. I've not done it. I have the block, I have the organza. I don't have the fairy lights. And I don't know if I bought a design for it yet, but I intend to do that as yet as well. And I will try to do a video doing it. I tell you what I did do though. I did do a screen design where you stitch on screen nylon screen, and it's like the screen that you buy to put in your windows or what have you, but it's pliable with nylon, and you can stitch on it. It was interesting, to say the least. But I've done it. I'm not going to go any further with that because I don't want to spoil a surprise. But I did try it and I did do it, and it turned out okay. It turned out okay. Um, so give it a try. Give it a try. You never know. You might like it. I'm going to definitely do it again because I have another design that I want to use and another way that I want to showcase it. And once I probably make a video on that as well. Since I've already done it, I kind of know what to do. And I did do it a little bit different than what the instructions said because I had some issues with that. But I'm not going to go into that either. I go into that when I do my video to put on my channel. But give it a try if you have not done it. It is something that is different to do. Um, they talk about embroidery beyond clothing, and that's pretty much phone cases, laptop sleeves, headphones, uh, different things like that. Totes, as we all know, makeup bags, uh, of course, your linen pillowcases, sheet tops. Um, did I mention pillows? What else can you do that's not clothing? So much. Runners, mats, placemats, napkins, all of that kind of stuff, towels, what have you. So it's so much that you can do. And even with those things, just keep in mind what we talked about as far as what the trend is with your bold colors, with your textile, with your retro vintage. All of those things can be added to um, those things as well. Embossed, not the controversial embossed. Embroidery Library has a whole library of embossed designs. And they just came out, I believe, today with Christmas in July. And they have a lot of new embossed designs that look really well on tiles. That's what made me think about it because I mentioned tiles. They have, I believe, the Santa Claus and the Christmas tree. And what else did I see? That look really, really nice. Really, really nice. I have a couple of their, well, I have more than a couple. I have quite a few of their embossed designs. Embroidery Library. It's called Christmas in July. Kick off the holiday season with new designs for 50% off. Shop now. And they have their embossed um, Santa and his sleigh. They have the Christmas tree, they have the snowman, they have classic reindeer, Christmas bells, poinsettia, just beautiful. And it looks really, I'm not going to try to show it to you because I got the background on it. But they're really, really cute and they are embossed. They are not this controversial embossment. So don't feel like you can't do it because you can. And they look really, really nice on towels. Anything that has some type of nap to it, it looks really nice. So, um, just wanted to point that out because they have that. I don't know for how long. July the 16th at 11:59. So it's on sale until next week, a week from today. So it's on sale for a week. And then, of course, they have other Christmas designs out as well that are on sale. And they're really nice. They're really nice. I just love Embroidery Library. They get on my nerves because they always have something that gets my money. Them and Designed by Juju need to leave me alone because they always have designs that I want. Even though I don't get around to doing them all. I do get around to doing a lot of them. I don't get around to doing them all. But they really have some nice designs. So if you're interested in that embossed look with the towels, it's not I don't want to say it's not 3D because it is 3D. It's just not that other controversial embossment. So don't feel like you cannot do it. That is not part of what's going on. Don't feel like you can't do the regular puff um, designs with the foam because you can. The ones that you do the puff on top, that's not part of the controversial. So whatever you were doing before when it comes down to 3D puff designs where you use the foam on top, you can still do it. This emboss that I just mentioned from Embroidery Library, the embossment is done on top. Therefore, it is not part of that infringement situation. So you can still do that. So all of the things that you've been doing, you can do still. The trapunto, yeah, you can still do that too. In the quilting. That's a question mark, but I ain't going there. I am not going there. But if you've done it before, you can. I would say you can continue. I'm gonna do it. I've done it before, and I want to make a pillow with mine. That's why I tried it to see what it was all about months ago, and I like the look. This is the trapunto quilting, and it's really really pretty. And I had said I was going to make some pillows using that technique. It's a quilting technique, and I do intend to do that because it's really, really pretty. And Embroidery Library sells, they're not the only one, but they sell quite a few Trampunto embroidery designs, and I have several of them. And they are absolutely gorgeous. And I think they also have the tutorial telling you exactly how to do it. Um, but I'm not going into that either. But as far as the tiles are concerned, those are embossed from the top, and your 3D puff with the foam where you stitch on top, like you do for your hats and stuff, that's done from the top. So that's not part of the infringement. So just keep that in mind. Yes, you can still do those. So those are the different trends. Now, it's one statement that was in here where it's the uh, FAQ, which embroidery is trending now. And number one was the sustainable embroidery, which we talked about. Number two, it says 3D embroidery. It just caught my eye. Technological advancements have brought 3D embroidery into the spotlight. This technique creates a raised, textured effect, making designs pop off the fabric. It's particularly popular in fashion and streetwear, where designers use it to add depth and dimension to their creations. 3D embroidery can be seen on everything from jackets and sneakers to accessories like hats and bags. So that's what I'm talking about, the 3D puff embroidery, whereas it's even mentioned in this article that I'm trying to see what the date is. There date on here is talking about the trends for 24. I don't necessarily see the date when it was written. I can't find a date, but it's trending. So I do want to emphasize again that it is okay to do your 3D embroidery as long as you do it the way you've done it in the past, where you're coming from the top, and then you should be okay. We all should be okay, because this is something that I know we all have been doing. I know I've been doing it ever since I've been embroidering. I've seen it done and I've been doing it, and I don't think that, matter of fact, I know it's not an issue, because I have had the opportunity to read that patent, and I did have the opportunity to listen to the lawyer that was talking on Jen, the sewing report, the other day, a couple of days ago. And so I feel comfortable with saying that in public, that as long as you're doing the 3D embossing, where you're using your puff foam and you're coming from the top, that you should be fine. All things shown, yes, 3D puff embroidery is safe to do still. Right, it is safe to do. So I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that, because I know I've had people ask that question before. And because it is confusing sometimes, because when you hear the word 3D puff, people aren't exactly sure exactly what that means, but it is the technique that is at issue. And as long as you're not using the patent technique, then you should be fine. And we've all done it. Like I said, ball caps, jackets, what have you. I've done it. I got jackets, ball caps, shirts. I got hoodies, all kinds of stuff with the regular 3D foam puff from on top. No big deal. And then those tiles that I mentioned, Embroidery Library has a whole ton of them, and they are called 3D embossed embroidery. So don't get confused with the embossed word. It's the technique that you have to be concerned about, not the wording. So just keep that in mind, and as long as you keep that in mind, then you'll be okay. You will be okay. And if you want to know or hear anything else about that particular issue, if you look at Jen on the sewing report and look at that video that she has out there, where she had an interview with a patent lawyer, he goes through a whole lot of information. I watched it. I was thankful for clarification and information, and all of that kind of stuff. And like I said, as far as I'm concerned, I'm done with it. Put it to bed, close the door, shut, turn off the light, all of that. I'm done with it. I am done with it. Enough is enough is enough. We will move on. There are plenty other things that are trending, that are interesting, that are beautiful, that we can do. And hopefully nobody else will come up with no more cease and desist over something that we start doing, that is creative and beautiful. Hopefully, no more of that. I hope no more of that. So, uh, yep, yep. That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly how I feel, girl. Enough is enough is enough. Um, but I'm glad. Again, thank all of you for spending time with me and helping me celebrate my birthday with all of you. I do appreciate your time, your energy, your gifts. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Please give me a thumbs up. That's a wonderful birthday present as well. A thumbs up, a comment, hit the notification bell, subscribe if you have not already done so, and come back, give me feedback, give me suggestions for other topics. All of those things are important. As you know, I've spoken of this many, many times. The thumbs up and the comments, subscription, all of those things is what keeps our uh, channel alive. We have other people on here that have channel. All Things Sean has a channel. She does wonderful work. I've watched her videos and everything and follow her. We have Baroka Sewing and Craft. Jeanette, she's on here. She does her Friday night live and she does tutorials and what have you. She has an Etsy shop. Follow her. And of course, I have a channel. I have an Etsy shop. My Etsy shop is Shirley's Thread Work. No apostrophe, no separation. Check it out. It's brand new. Where are you? I want to get you down. It's brand new. That's it. Shirley's Thread Work. I know that I need to get more things up. I need to get more pictures up. All of those kinds of things like that. I've been kind of in this battle of time because I also have the Sew Along that is a group of us that get together every Wednesday night and do a sew along together. And we're currently working on a mini quilt. Most of us are. And I got so far behind, but I've been trying to catch up. And I'm not going to tell you guys where I am. You guys will find out tomorrow. But anyway, I've been working hard trying to catch up because we have to get done with this project and do our reveal so we can move on to the next project. And I'm hoping to be able to have the reveal in a couple of weeks. So tomorrow's the 10th, the 17th. I want to be able to do the reveal on the 24th. Now, we may or may not, but we shall see. But I will make the announcement as I always have when we're going to do the reveal, and we'll get a chance to show our work of all the things that we've done, the hard work that we put in. But I have put a lot of time and energy into that as well. And that along with my Etsy shop and everything like that is just kind of getting stuff here and there and everywhere. And Robin, you say I'm ready. I know you ready, girl. You got like 2 or 3 quilts that you ready. Robin is amazing. And you'll get a chance to see how amazing her work is when we do the reveal. She's just amazing. And she does that with a single needle machine. So I have to tell you, I'm at awe with what she turns out. I just have to let you know that. But yeah, she's ready. I know she's ready. She's been ready. It's the rest of us that got to get ready. It's some more of us on here that's ready. But it's some more of us that ain't ready. And I'm one of them. But I'm getting there. I'm closer than you think. Trust and believe me, I'm closer than you think. So I will be ready this month. That's for sure. And like I said, hopefully it will be the 24th, but I'm not going to guarantee you that. And yet, Deborah, I know you're ready too. You say you finish your foot also. Yes, Deborah and Robin, I know for sure are ready. Um, and I don't know who else is ready, but I'll find out tomorrow night. And then we will go from there because it's a group of us that are on here tonight that I get with on every Wednesday night, and we do a Zoom. So we're actually seeing each other and talking to each other and sharing ideas and accomplishments and working through issues, all of the stuff we do. So it makes it an enjoyable time. And every time we get ready to start a new project, first of all, we vote on what it is we want to do. And then I come on here and I open the door for anybody else that wants to join us. You can join us, whatever that project may be. Don't know what it's going to be. We haven't discussed it yet, but we will. and then I'll let everybody know. And if you want to join us, you can. We do it 7 o'clock every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every Wednesday night. That's when we start. We don't have any rules per se, and so it's very laid back. And I'm getting all these people telling me they finished. You guys trying to I'm trying to make me feel bad because I ain't. Somebody got to chime in and tell me they not ready. Besides me, Taisha, you ready? It's got to be somebody not ready besides me. Val, you ready? I got to call some people out because I can't be the only one not ready. But nonetheless, I will let you guys know when we get ready to do the reveal. So with that being said, I am going to go ahead and say good night. Thank you guys. Oh, thank you, Taisha. She ain't ready either, so I ain't the only one that's not ready. That's good to know. At least I feel better. I'm not the only one that's not ready. But we're both close. That much I know for a fact. We're both very close. So again, thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I do appreciate you. Thank you so much for all the super stickers and wishing me happy birthday. I do appreciate that. And I'm going to be celebrating the rest of the month. So I'll be back on here next week talking about my birthday for a little bit as well. But anyway, thank you so much. Take care. Have a wonderful rest of your week. And I will talk to you guys next week if it's the Lord's will. Take care and good night. Bye-bye.